Okay, so today we're going to be starting a new project. It's one that I got a month or so ago. You've probably seen it in a previous video. And it's a little 49cc two-stroke engine made by Teagle. Teagle engines in Truro, Cornwall. So it's quite a local little engine. Let's see if I can't get focus. There you go. Truro, England. I'll give it all a good clean up, and we're going to essentially take the cowling off, take the firewheel off, see if we can get a spark, figure out how I'm going to make a base for it, and what I'm going to do with the carburetor, because the carburetor was running off a flexi hose, so like a piece of plastic pipe that would have gone there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the carburetor mounted there somehow, so it probably means making a new manifold, because that is not the right diameter for the carburetor. Sorry, it went out of focus then. So yeah, it's a very small engine considering this is my hand, and that's it over the flywheel. So it's quite a small little engine, and was originally mounted to a hedge trimmer. But anyway, that's enough about the engine. What we're going to do now is we're going to slowly strip it down, and every time I do something relatively significant to it, I will do a little quick video showing you what's going on. There you go. Thank you. I'll see you in the next bit. Okay, so there you go. That's the cowling off the engine now. Also removed the spark plug, and we can now see the flywheel quite easily. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to remove the big nut there that's holding the flywheel on, as well as this little rope wraparound pulley. The engine itself is quite different in the sense that you probably noticed there's actually no shaft coming out the back, and where the drive comes from for the implement is actually in the middle of the engine. So it's quite an awkward one for if you ever wanted to use it for anything. So this is pretty much just going to be a little display engine, because they are really, like, it's just a crap design when you think about it, but hey ho. Yeah, nice interesting little engine all the same. They run nice, so yeah, that's the reason why we're doing it. But anyway, yeah, next part you'll see, fly will be off. May take the exhaust off and see what carbon buildup there is, and just generally give it a good clean off. So yeah, see you in the next part. So there we have it. The flywheel came off within about 2 minutes of me ending that video. The bolt was quite easy to remove. Flywheel, just gave it a few taps all around, and then put the nut back on, tap the shaft, and come out. So that's about it really. The flywheel maggers are now exposed. Points are a little bit dirty, so we're going to give them a clean and spin it over, see if we can get a spark. If we get a spark, we will dribble some petrol down there, put the plug in, give it a pull, see if it will run, and then we got to think about a base. So that's about it. See you in the next part. Okay, so mounted it in a big vise. It's fortunate that these vices aren't mounted to my bench yet, because if they were, it wouldn't be able to do this. Anyway, I've poured a little bit of petrol into the intake, and we're going to give it a few pulls and see if it'll fire up for you. So there you have it. She runs. Albeit a brief run, we need to do some more work. I'm going to be chopping and welding the manifold up, the intake pipe, just to be able to essentially mount the carburetor. I'll show you now. So, ring clamp this and set it up. Carburetor. And that is how the carburetor will sit. As I mentioned earlier, the carburetor was on a flexi rubber tube, so it could work with the sway of the engine. and keep the carb level, or else it'll leak fuel everywhere and you wouldn't get the proper running. And what I'm going to do is cut an angle on either side of those pipes, make it up, and that should be it. We need to make a base for it. We need to get a fuel tank for it. I don't know whether I've got one or whether it's going to be a case of me making one out of an old oil can. We shall see. I think it would either suit a nice long cylinder, one along the side of there, or it's going to suit a little rectangular one. Not too sure yet, undecided. But there you are. I hope you enjoyed the little run. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. There will be a part 2 on this probably sometime next week, once I've got the carb cleaned up and well, welded up even. And yeah, that's about it for the little Teagle engine so far. Not bad for half an hour of tinkering though.